We just do it. It'll turn out okay.
Yeah.
Even if computers hate us sometimes.
Ugh, technology is just a thing.
Yeah. So look, everyone, Talking Time with Caffeine, the only podcast where we got caffeine and we talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about. My guest today is, well, I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Iseth, and I'm coming from hell to seduce us all to the dark side.
Been there, done that. Got the T-shirt.
Oh, you got the T-shirts? Awesome. I do have T-shirts. Not many though.
So what's so original about you?
No, I'm just the original Iseth. That's about as original as it gets. There are fake Iseths and copy Iseths, but I'm the original.
So how are you how are you surviving all this chaotic world stuff?
By not getting out, I suppose.
Yeah, me too.
So where are you living, if I may ask?
Ohio.
Ohio. Are they very messy over there?
Yeah, a little bit. A lot of people on there's a lot of people on my Facebook pages and stuff that are saying that this is all fake and stuff. It's all whatever. And honestly, I wish they were right. It was fake, but as I have like a asthma and stuff, I can take the chance of it not being fake. So I got.
The thing is, it's clearly a real flu or whatever. Yeah. I have had healthy people getting sick, family members and all, who got very, very badly sick, and they were, in perfect health. So if you have issues, you should take it more than seriously.
Yeah, I have asthma, so my lungs are already compromised as it is.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not take the chance. Now, I am lucky because Logic and I are mostly working at home from home, and we are living right now pretty much in a place where there's no known case whatsoever. Completely nice. At the end of the world, in the middle of nowhere. Best place to live. Just if people live in cities, if you have the chance, move out. Just move somewhere remote where there are less people, because the more people there, the worse it gets. Yeah. And that's true for sicknesses, but it's also partially true for Logic. Then I call it the city sickness. The more people are around, the less you are, friendly with people, because you don't really know all of them, and that is kind of very unhealthy for you over the long term.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's like my city is like not a small city, but one of those big metropolises either. It's like a suburb city, I guess.
How many people do you have in your city?
About 6,000, maybe.
Yeah, that's nice, decent size.
Yeah, I'm one of the essential workers, so I still got a job right now.
Be glad you have a job.
Yeah, I work at I work at McDonald's, so I gotta make the food for everyone.
Oh yeah, food is food.
Yeah, and of course, crazy people that come through drive-through, even when the store was on fire, people still came through drive-through.
Yeah, well, you gotta eat.
Yeah, like.
I have to say though, stores on fire. Like, how close are you to the places that are rioting?
Well, there were some rioters I could once be over with. It wants to be over from me. Not like destroy everything rioters, but like some not truly peaceful, but not completely destroy all the buildings riots.
Okay.
Yeah, I live about an hour north of the Ark encounter.
Oh wow. Yeah, I don't know if that's a lucky or an unlucky fit over there.
But so, what's your channel about?
My channel. Currently, it's about everything. I have how should I say this? I have this personal urge to go against woo-woo wherever I find it. There is so much woo I will never get to it, but I at least try, you know.
One woo at a time.
One woo at a time, yeah.
Oh. So.
Do you have the chat open, by the way? The YouTube chat?
Yeah, the chat's open.
No, I mean, do you have it open? Do you see it?
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
I see it, and plus you can also see the chat over on the side of the StreamYard app too.
Nice. Oh, that makes it easy.
Yeah. And if I want to, I can up there. Like make it, everyone can see it. And yes, I have heard of it. And I haven't had it in a while, but I think they have this at my local ice cream place.
Chicken fried steak. What is a chicken fried steak?
No idea, but it tastes weird.
It tastes weird. Okay.
I think it's steak that's not if I remember correctly, it's steak that's easy to chew.
Steak that's easy to chew. Okay. Oh, okay.
Or maybe they fry it instead of whatever they do with.
I don't know. I tend to not fry chicken. In fact, I tend to very rarely cook chicken in the first place. So I'm at a loss here. It's such a thing. I came here and then everyone was starting to deep fry chicken. It was very interesting, very fascinating.
You don't eat chicken, or you're a griller or a baker?
Okay.
But see, so what's your favorite of your videos you made? Who's your favorite person that you've I won't say can you have like a rival or anything on YouTube?
A rivalry thing? No, not yet. I'm still waiting for like the perfect person to challenge me on me being easy. You know, you have to think I have already a tough time because my partner, Logic, is always at least 10 times my sub count, right? He's always ahead of me. No matter how hard I try, he's always ahead of me. And so it's really hard to develop this kind of, you know, I'm awesome sentiment, because it doesn't matter how awesome you are. You live basically in the same house as someone who's more awesome than you.
Yeah.
By the numbers. And so it's like it just keeps you on the ground, I think. So
probably most of your sub count came from him.
Not necessarily. Some we definitely have a huge shared viewer count, but there are some people on my account that don't watch his, and some on his that don't watch mine. It's funny because Logic tends to be to the left to me, so I'm more like the more politically on the right than he is. And so, oddly enough, though, his audience tends to be more to the right than my audience. It's a very huge discrepancy there.
People's tastes are weird sometimes.
You know, it's the fact is we don't have politics on our channel all that much. So obviously people don't know what our positions are ever, or at least not much. But it is funny to see who you attract just by being you. It's really, really funny.
Oh yeah, I usually don't have politics on my channel either. Of course, I made an exception for last week when I had to. You know, it's like sometimes you just have to like do something, say something like, "Hey, blah blah blah, whatever." Hey, now back to our regular scheduled program. So, what's your favorite? Of all the videos that you made so far, what do you think stands out as one of your favorite ones to make?
favorite when we talk about debunk videos is a very, very hard word because, what is your favorite video that you made? Are you talking about, was I successful in debunking the wacky video that I debunked? Or was the video so wacky that I enjoyed it and entertained myself so much that I made a good video?
I guess maybe both. I meant how you have fun making, but the other one works too.
Yeah. Michael in the chat says girls are scary. I think that is one of the best. That is one of the best videos. That's a collab. I think that's not on my channel. I think that is on Logic's channel. It was a collab we made, Logic and I. That was at the very early time when I was moving in
I
to his place.
Is that the one where you stole his teddy bear?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's one of the best. But it was fun. Yeah, definitely.
That's definitely what got you on my radar.
Yeah. It's fun when you have fun with your job. That's definitely something that makes it easy to work.
Oh yeah. So, you think anything else for fun besides do you like play games or anything or?
Yeah, sure, I do. But if we talk hobbies, my current hobby is eliminating weed. Like the stuff that grows everywhere on your garden and it's not supposed. And like there are all those people who are annoyed about it. And I am just entertained by it currently. I come up with all kinds of creative ideas of how to exterminate those unwanted grasses out of the yard. And people sometimes probably when they pass by think I'm not completely 100%, I'm a bit crazy. But, we have a stressful time and I have a stressful job and I have to watch wacky videos. If once in a while I'm being wacky in a very harmless way, I think that's fair.
You should make your own kill the wheat video.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
You should make your own kill the wheat video.
Kill the wheat video, yeah. No. Talking about stupid and talking about killing wheat. We had recently this very stupid situation where the water wouldn't come through, right? We would turn the water on from the water hose and it wouldn't come through.
You have flowing water up in Canada?
We have flowing water. Amazing, isn't it? It's not warm, but it's flowing. To be fair, it's only flowing about four months in the year. The other months you can forget about it. The other months you can pick it out of the
4 months you have the 4 months that you have the sunlight.
Yeah, the 4 months where the ground isn't frozen. No, it's really hilarious. So we had the water going, and it just didn't come, and we tried to open up the water as much as possible. And at some point, we decided, okay, let's turn it off. And we tried to turn it off and turned it completely off. And it turns out, and then it just starts spewing water everywhere. Turns out that thing was just mounted wrong, or at least, turned the wrong way. So to turn it on, you turned it off, and to turn it off, you turned it on. It was just completely reverse on it.
So instead of left loose, right tight, it was right loose, left tight?
Pretty much, yeah.
And I thought Australia was the backwards country.
Canada is a weird country for so many reasons. It seems to me they can't really make up their mind about everything because they have imperial, but they have also metric. Yeah, Michael Kieran is like, yeah, I blame Trudeau. Yeah, I blame Trudeau too. Trudeau, I swear, who on earth voted for that guy? That guy can't get a straight thought out if he gets paid for it, and he gets paid a lot for it.
Well, he could be worse. You could have our leader.
No. The funny thing is, I have looked it up because everyone is always complaining about Trump, but I don't hear that much about Trump over here. So I was, going and looking at all the stuff he does, and I have to say he does a lot of nonsense. Seriously, that guy is just wacky that half is enough.
Yeah.
But
Yours is worse?
Not as wacky as ours.
Wow.
Trudeau beats Trump, hands down. And I'm very sorry, but you don't get the cake this time, US. You're not the first in wacky leader. I'm sorry.
So we
look, that guy managed to ban on his own, because usually you have to go through parliament, right? But he got, obviously because of this whole pandemic and stuff, he got sole rulership for a period of time.
Wow.
It was meant to be like a thingy, to pass easy legislation, give people money and stuff like that. He decided to use that to make a gun ban. Now, there are all kinds of things about pro-gun and anti-gun, and I don't care about those politics. The thing I care about is that he managed to ban a bazooka, which was already banned. I don't know for how long. I don't think it was ever legal. And he managed to ban a BB gun. And you know what he didn't manage to ban is a military-style rifle that you can get from the Russian army if you want to.
Wow.
Like, you see, you don't have to be pro-gun or counter-gun to see that is just stupid beyond compare.
I say maybe it's a tie.
No. Look, that is just the tip of the iceberg. It's just to get the point across of how nuts that guy is. It's just because you don't hear it doesn't mean he isn't crazy. It's really whatever.
I don't really pay attention much to Canadian politics, because I don't really pay that much attention to American politics either. Much.
Well.
Oh my God. Yeah. God. Well, I'm sorry. I can see access me now. Okay, my fellow Canadians, I'm sorry, but you can no longer purchase a bazooka.
Yeah, and a BB gun. Particular, it's not all BB guns, it's a particular kind of BB gun, but still, how do you manage? How? Just, this guy has no idea about guns, is what it is. But the thing that annoys me the most is that he passed it during a crisis situation. There was, I'm pretty sure, more than enough people. There were more than enough people inside of the parliament to just get it through via parliament. He wouldn't have had any issue whatsoever to get it through. But he decided to just do it by himself. So that already annoys me. What the hell do you think you're doing there? Let's not go Berlusconi or Mussolini style over there, please. But that aside, then on top of that, the stupidity of what he did. That just, if he wouldn't be the leader of the country I'm living in, I would love to make a video about it and laugh. But unfortunately, that guy has a bit too much power to be laughing about it.
You can't make a video about him right now while he's still a leader, or you just don't want to?
No, it's having crazy people you can make fun of is one thing. Having crazy people you can make fun of who are with the finger on the nuclear, rockets button is a bit of a different story. Now, Canada, luckily, is pretty much like the US without teeth. It's a very harmless country. But I still don't really want to have a wacko in charge of it. It's the same way I don't really want, Trump to be anywhere near the red buttons of his office. It's just a thing that is not very, it's not good for the country.
So hopefully Canada and America never war with each other.
I have to be honest, I should not talk politics, but I dragged us in there. Mea culpa.
Yeah.
I worry that we won't get rid of Trudeau for a very long time. And the moment we will get rid of him, it will be the next generation, and they will all slap the older generation behind the head, being like, what the hell were you thinking? You know, a bunch of stupid chickens and stuff.
Oh.
And I will be ashamed to be part of the older generation.
Yeah, I'm almost the older generation now. I turned 40 recently. I'm pretty much in the mid generation. I'm pretty much older generation now. You know you're old when some of your classmates have grandkids already.
Yeah. Although if it's 40 grandkids, I mean they put in a bit of a rocket speed there, you know, 20 the kids, something like that.
Yeah.
Rushed.
Some of them had kids when we were still in high school, so.
Oh, well.
You know, early start, I guess.
You know, it's such a weird way of doing things. I remember when I was around 20, early 20s, I would not have had the hat for a family. In fact, I did like everything but being responsible. You know?
Yeah.
Moving away from country to country, going to a country where I didn't know the language, and then learning the language there and getting a job and everything, and just building everything up from scratch. There was a part in my past where I was homeless, you know, self-inflicted, yeah. And then there was a part where I was just, you know, driving around, traveling around, discovering the Europes. And then eventually I decided to get completely crazy, you know, step into a plane and fly to a mass pantyhose-faced hellion. I mean, you can't really say I was a responsible human being back in my 20s, early 20s. Yeah. So, yeah, it was good to wait. And if people are even remotely like me, wait until you're, you know, late 20s, early 30s with this whole family business, just for your own sake, or maybe for your kids' sake, you don't know.
Yeah, sometimes, sometimes I know for a fact sometimes you don't know who you are until your 30s.
Well, it also depends what kind of life you have, right? Yeah, weirdo. Yeah, definitely weirdo.
Yeah, I'm definitely the person that wasn't. I'm definitely the person that I was in my 20s. In my 20s, I was a 3 day I was a 3 day a week church goer.
Yeah, no, the thing that I noticed a lot also is many people with 20 are still, you know, studying in school. I think it takes you about 5 years of having like your own job, making your own money, paying your own taxes, being on your own, not getting, you know, sponsored by daddy and mommy, to figure out what life is actually like.
Yeah.
Because if you, you know, don't have this kind of period where you figure stuff out and you just start from scratch with family, you have a much harder time. Because not only do you have to figure everything out, but you also have a kid.
Oh yeah, like, oh, you want to figure stuff out? Okay, but first you gotta feed this little thing and change its diaper.
You know, I don't think people understand or remember, depending on whether they have kids or not, how much more stupid you are when you have a kid that deprives you of your sleep. The things that we did right after getting the kid, and we were settled. We were, you know, quite decently settled, you know, financially and everything. But the stupidities we did when we got our daughter, it's just, I'm looking back at it and I'm thinking by myself, what on earth was going through my mind? And the answer is nothing, because I didn't have sleep. There was just nothing I could think. I was just completely stupid. And that's just a fact. And so, no, yeah. Better not have to figure stuff out when you are in that situation.
Yeah, like, oh God. So how? This is my hair right now, and it's like my last haircut was in January, February. I used to get haircuts every like a month or two. So now, in like 6 months, I got my haircut. So, how bad is your hair bad, or you like it long?
I'm lucky because I was after I think a year or two ago, I decided to cut my hair super short because the old hair was all like rough and splitty and dry, and it was basically like having hay on your head. So I decided cut it short, cut it off, look a bit like a tomboy for about a year or so. It will regrow eventually. And now, because of also like it's easier for me to have long hair. You have those people who have to go to offices who have always to have like their hair in order and in shape. If mine looks weird and fluffy, who cares? No one is watching.
Yeah. Well, your where you work isn't that. I guess where you work at isn't that bad as strict hair laws. Like,
well, you guys have the issue, especially with guys, which quite frankly is kind of mean, because there are guys who like their hair long. There is something to be said about having the hair long enough to put it back to a tail. And that is, if your hair is short and it grows longer, eventually it lands in your bloody face, in your bloody eyes, constantly. And that's just horrible. Now, you can, of course, keep on cutting it and keep on cutting it and keep on cutting it. And if there's nothing around, you go for the shares, you go for the, beard razor, and you just, give yourself a nice skinhead or something for a while. Yeah. But that's just not very convenient either, especially when, you don't happen to have, a dark skin. If you have a bright skin, if you give yourself a bald head but on purpose, everyone is looking at you somewhat funny, It's like either you lost your hair or you willingly lost your hair in a sense. But the fact that guys in many cases cannot keep their hair long is kind of stupid. Because if your hair is long enough and you can tie it back, you tend to have much less hygiene issues than if your hair is short and half of it falls into your foot.
Yep. My hair is crazy. I think my hair. I must have super growth hair because my hair grows fast. You heard of the 5 o'clock shadow after you shave? I think I have like a noon shadow. It goes back that fast right now.
Noon shadow.
Yeah, it's a joke. 5 o'clock. You've heard of 5 o'clock shadow before when you're shaving?
I have heard about 7:30 p.m, but that's about it.
Oh, it's a saying.
Okay.
It was right. I grew up. But you shave it. You shave at like at 9 o'clock, or whatever, or 7 o'clock in the morning. By 5 o'clock, your hair's already growing back.
I see. Yeah.
Mine's like goes back at noon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so you've had, besides your husband, you've had other guest stars. I've seen you had the dragon a few times. You have any other favorite guest stars that you've had on?
To be fair, when I had like a smaller channel, I had quite a few of collabs. Later on, I still had collabs. The big problem is nowadays, first of all, it's hard to get in contact with people, especially smaller channels tend to not really talk to you.
Really? I thought it'd be the other way around. I thought it'd be like, bigger channels want to talk to you, like you're not important enough for me to talk to. I thought smaller channels would be like, oh yes, talk to me, please.
Well, no. Obviously, if you have a big channel, it's not like you can go through all of your comments, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you can see all the people. But something that happens a lot is the small channels don't get seen. So what many small channels do is they go to bigger channels and they say, hey, hi, let's make a collab. Hey, hi, look at my stuff. Kind of a bit self-advertisement, which is awesome because that's how you get seen. However, that doesn't happen for some reason when your channel gets a tiny bit bigger. And I have this fortune or misfortune, one or the other, that not only am I a channel that is moderately big for people who just start off. Obviously, in my perspective, it's kind of small. But from people who just start off, who have small channels, from their perspective, it's a big channel. So they are already worried to talk to me. So there is already like a barrier there, which is sad because I love talking to the people. And I try to keep up with my comments, which gets harder and harder, admittedly. But I try to talk to them. But then the next problem is, not only do I have that barrier, but I also have the barrier of everyone who knows me, chances are they also know Logic. So if they try to contact someone, they usually try to contact Logic. And he obviously has 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times more comments than I do. And so as a result, they will never be seen, right? Like I still have a small enough group where I manage to pick out people and find new talent and find people to collab with. Logic doesn't have that. He won't see them. And even if he sees them, there are so many, he doesn't have the time to go through it.
Yeah, it's like, I guess that's the bad side of fame. Like, not enough time to now it's the little people.
That though is not the main, like everyone has to decide whether or not they want to collab with new people, right? When you have a certain amount of viewership, basically you give people a magnifying, not a magnifying glass, an amplifier. You show people around, you make advertisement for them through your channel. Now, what happens, for example, if you have a big channel and you make a collab with someone who then turns out to be a complete wacko?
Like you don't know till it's too late. It's kind of like the saying, you don't know someone, you don't know what someone's like until you start living with them.
No, I'm pretty sure when we talk, Logic, he tends to avoid making collabs nowadays, partially because he has zero time. But partially also because, for example, there were certain, times where he was shouting out someone years and years ago, who later turned out to be a weird person.
Oh, they and you can't really take once it's out there, you can't really take it back.
Yeah, well, you can still like unlist it and stuff the video, but it's the internet. Chances are it's somewhere else, and also it's done, right? They got already the exposure. They got already your viewers.
Yeah. You're not crazy, are you?
Well, I'm watching crazy videos. I think you have to be at least somewhat crazy to watch crazy videos and debug them. I mean,
that's true. That's true. Well, I guess
sanity is overrated.
I guess my one viewer or two viewers. It's too late. They've already subscribed to you now. My two viewers, like, I've already raised your channel that much more now.
I'm pretty sure that both Michael and Dolphiny, I have no idea how to pronounce Dolphiny's name, by the way. I'm pretty sure I know those two. They tend to leave comments on my videos and stuff. Also, yay for finding me before Logic. Tell me I'm the better top at where. Yay. No, that's the other thing. I don't have many people who regularly chat with me in the comment section. And I have even less people, maybe like a handful or two, who are in the Discord. And as a result, it's super, 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 easy to get a hold of me because I have maybe 10 people I have to pay attention to.
Yeah. And then you ever do become famous, those 10 people are like your core audience.
Pretty much, right? Like if you get to know a content creator early on, you are part of the elite in a sense. You are part of the group that whenever you post something, whenever you talk, you will get attention more than everyone else. So it's always good to be the first. But
it's like buying a stock when it's 25 cents, and later on that stock becomes like worth $1,000.
Well, it's, the thing is not only, you being able to get access to a person, but also, like, imagine the reason I am now married with Logic is because I subscribed to Logic when he had 80 subs ish. And I started DMing him when he had about 100 and something, right? And then eventually he jumped up to 1,000. But I had already wedged myself in there, which is why it was easy for me to get in contact with him. Imagine I would have come a year or 2 or 3 later. I would have had no such option. I would have had no such way to get in contact with him. And as a result, I would have never moved to Canada. It's a very interesting way of watching at it.
So you didn't originally live in Canada?
Sorry?
You're not originally from Canada?
I would have never moved to Canada if not for Logic. I find it a really awkward country. And like in a positive sense, but also sometimes in a negative sense. In a positive sense, because the place we live in, Alberta, is actually a pretty nice place. It's nice people. Generally, you get along with everyone quite nicely.
It's the YouTube love story.
Negative, though, some of the legislation and some of the rules in Canada just make you pull your hair out. Where you're like, look, I was living in Italy. We have 3 different kinds of police. 2 of them, you better have some, money to bribe the hell out of them in case you ever see them. And the third just don't even get close. But we have never had that kind of weird legislation ever. Like, we have wackish, weird legislation where, for example, they tell you how often you go out with the dog. They tell you, where you can hold a goldfish and where not, in which city. They do not tell you what kind of gender you have to get a chance to get a job in certain particular places. That's just, it's so weird. And then certain things they take for granted, where they're just going and they pass by and they say, hey, how are you? And before you even have turned around, they're already gone. And it's like, did they actually ask me a question?
Were they talking to me? Were they even talking to me?
Yeah, no, it's so weird. It is so weird. But it's every country has its pros and its cons, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. What's that saying? The grass is always greener on the other side of the street.
Talking about streets and signs and everything. What on earth is wrong with the street signage? You never have any street sign actually fitting the place. Like, it tells you it goes narrow to the left and it goes narrow to the right. It tells you the street goes broader and it goes narrower. It's completely upside down. I swear. I haven't seen one accurate signage that wasn't there for 50 years that would actually be accurate.
Yeah, it's weird. I saw a video about the streets here versus the streets in Europe, and they, from what they said, it says American cities were based on streets, and European streets are based on cities.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, you have to think, some of our cities are much, much older than cars are, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had horses and we had maybe some carriages, and that's about it, right? So when you look at the streets, the pathways are super slim, the streets are super slim, and you have to make a street wherever you get to make a street. And then you come over here and it's like you have a block of street, and then you have a block of house, and then you have a block of street, and maybe 1 or 2 cars driving through,
Oof. So, you have a favorite? You said you attack the woo signs. You have a favorite woo signs that you like to attack the most?
Favorite woo-woo signs. The favorite woo-woo signs is the signs that don't attack.
Ah.
You know? It's like I have found those absolutely delicious videos where they basically show you the alien faces, right?
Yeah.
Look, there's an alien face over here. There's an alien face over there. We are surrounded by aliens, right? And
Either alien faces or Jesus's face.
no, the ones I like are the alien faces ones. The Jesus's faces, they're kind of boring over time, but the alien faces, they're so creative because you don't have to have a weird man with a beard. You can have all kinds of shapes, right? So they go a bit nuts, you know, and then they find cars, you know, because you see aliens totally drive cars the same way we drive cars for some reason. And no, it's so funny, right? And then, you know, they obviously always, you know, justify themselves. It's like, oh, yeah, sure, pareidolia, yeah, right. NASA's not lying to you whatsoever. And you're sitting there just laughing because it's so pareidolia. But yeah, you know, it's this kind of harmless woo-woo stuff where it's like, just let them be, just let them do. They're kind of cute. They're totally wacky, but they're kind of cute while they're totally wacky. You know,
like a little kid, like playing with blocks. Like, okay, nice kid. Like, do your thing.
Yeah, Momo, gotta pinch those little cheeks while they come up with that stuff here.
But on fun stuff, what's the craziest thing that you've seen on your use on the internet that you didn't know, that you really didn't know, that you didn't know before that people thought that?
I had this talk. I mean, this is a real life experience, you know, because on the internet you can never know if a person is honest or if that person is trolling you, right? You always have a minimum percentage of options that you're getting trolled right now. And I had a person talk with me in real life where I said, oh my God, I just found out about this whole jinn nonsense that apparently if you go in with the wrong foot into the bathroom, the jinns are watching you pee. Which is a real thing in Islam, right? And that woman turns around to me and she's like, oh yeah, of course they do. And you need to like go in with the right foot and pray so that the angels come and turn the jinns' heads away. And I'm looking at her completely flabbergasted. It's like, okay, so in order to not have the demons watch you pee, you go in with the right foot and you pray regularly. And so there are angels who come in and turn their heads around. Now, I want to know, just for the record, which way are the angels looking?
Well, obviously the angels aren't perverts, you know.
They could come up with the argument of saying, no, we are not watching you because we're perverts. We're just watching you to make sure you actually hit the ball.
Oh.
You know what? Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. I just need to get something.
We'll be back after these messages.
Sorry?
As a joke, I said we'll be back after these messages.
Okay. No, I'll be back in a second. Just let me get this off here.
All right. So, hey, audience, how y'all doing? Got any questions for us?
Yeah, you could like gather all kinds of stuff while I'm gone. Just give me a second because I'm trapped in here. Jesus. All right. Now, if I fall off, I will come back soonish.
Okay. Oh, so how y'all doing, y'all audience members? You had 2 people on one person, 2 people watching right now. Anybody in the audience like video games? if you like video games, then you should check out my one series. I do funny voices. If you like funny voices and like killer teddy bears. Yeah, it's a funny it's a funny game, especially nowadays with the everyone being locked down. It's a game where these kids are locked in a school with killer teddy bear. And I voiced the girls, and it's like, and it's hilarious. Me trying to sound like a girl. Oh. What was it?
All right, just give me a sec.
And now
is this mic still working?
Yes, I can still
hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me loud and clear, or can you hear me kind of weird?
I can hear you both clear, yes.
The thing is, I have two microphones, right?
Yeah.
One of them has a bit of a shaky contact, so I have to be very careful when I put it down, because if I don't put it down right, it just stops working suddenly in the middle of recording, and then you're sitting there without audio.
Oh yeah.
And basically, the computer takes over and it has like this shitty audio, this shitty. You can hardly hear me. It's as if I have a muffle on my face. It's as if I'm completely distorted. Kind of like.
I hate you're making a video and you don't know your mic stopped working until your video's done, and like you go back and see it. Oh, you're just talking you're just like no sound at all. You're just talking.
God, yeah. Well, that's a bad part that's bad if you have something live. I'm trying to never get anything live. I tried to have a few live hangouts a while ago, a few streams.
Well, actually, live.
Live, I mean, you actually talk real time and people hear you real time.
Yeah. I mean, I think live is better because if your mic's not working, you can know right away. People in chat, "Hey, I can't hear you, loser. Fix your mic." When you're by yourself, you only know until it's too late.
Yeah, but you see, when you realize that you talked into your mic and you didn't record, then you have to re-record it, which is obnoxious.
Yeah.
But your audience will never find out.
Except for one time you uploaded you accidentally uploaded the video without checking it first.
Wait. You are not doing that, do you? Don't do that. No, ever. There are so many people who do that. Now, you look at me, you imaginary whoever the hell. You look at me. Don't ever upload without checking your video.
I did that one time. Never again.
Yeah.
I was doing a review of Pepsi Fire, I think, a Pepsi Fire review. Of course, luckily for me, I didn't need sound because the visuals did it all. I took a drink of it, and my face said it all. How terrible it was.
Yeah.
So luckily that worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I checked now because sometimes, like I said, now my videos nowadays, my computer's a little old. That sometimes the whole thing's just frozen. Back to what I was saying before, I think the thing that surprised me lately is the flat Earth people that think the Earth's still flat. I didn't know that was a thing.
Flat Earth people, again, are the kind of people who are nearly on the harmless side. They're the kind of people who are wacky enough to come up with wacky ideas, and they keep you in shape because you have to actually check stuff up to argue against them. You have to educate yourself if you want to argue against them. You have to know what they're talking about, and you have to know why it's wrong. So it's good for you You know, you got your exercise, your skeptical thinking exercise, your logical thinking training. But it's not the kind of evil that is bad for you.
Yeah.
The kind of dogma that is bad for you is the kind of dogma that is A, very spread, or B, very persuasive. And we have a few of those dogmas around right now that are absolutely dangerous.
Like, say, the vaccine people?
For example, anti-vaxxers, yeah. But those are the people that we are aware of. There are dogmas around there that I have learned recently, very recently about. And the only reason I'm not mentioning them is because I don't want your video to get taken down from the YouTubes, because that happens. It wouldn't be the first time. But there are dogmas out there that not only are absolutely hideous towards people and absolutely cultish to the point where the people who buy into that get completely stuck and don't even understand how much they are stuck in a dogma that isn't real and panic about things that don't exist. But on top of that, it is a dogma that if you push it too far, you get the opposite side to push back. And that side will be even worse because they are basically the dark side of the same coin, same kind of, nastiness, except those people not only are complete wackos and complete cultists, but they're also organized. So it's basically like building your own military out of dogma. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, Michael in chat may remind me of a joke I told one time, and a thing is, you tell people, like, the flat is, the earth isn't flat, silly. There's mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy people. Apparently, there's this. I saw this thing on Facebook where they said you can get rid of viruses by attacking them with ultraviolet light. I'm like, what?
The thing is, and that is something that is really nasty. That is also something I tend to not talk about, because whenever you say Corona or COVID, videos start to get taken down.
Yeah.
There is something about UV light, sunlight specifically, that does have an impact on particular germs.
Okay.
Now, be careful. It's heat and it's sunlight, so it's not completely out of the dark. But that doesn't mean that by shining UV light on you, suddenly you're free of coronavirus. So
yeah. You
have to. No, the thing is, and that is why it's such a bad thing. It's like they take something that to a certain degree is true. They can point you to something that is true, something small about it. And then from that, they extrapolate and throw in ideology and dogma and stupidity. And then what comes out of that is complete nonsense. And it's like, I mean, you had this instant with the bleach, or what was it, fish tank cleaner, where that went completely off the rails too, because you had in Europe people making use of a particular kind of malaria medicine, let's call it like that, malaria medicine. They use that not because of its effect on the virus, but because of its effect on the body. They have hypothesized back when it started, back when it was in China, where they actually also used that stuff to try to see if it works. The reason they try to see if it works is because they have had the experience that certain things from that sickness get worse if you're an adult, because your body tends to react on it differently than if you're a child, which is why children tend to not get it that heavily if they get it at all. So the children didn't get sick, or they do get sick, but they don't get it that heavily, because their immune system is not 100% yet. And so as a result, it doesn't react as aggressively. By reacting as aggressively as an adult system does, it tends to make things harsher and worse. I mean, it's meant to make you heal quicker, but it does it in a way that can get you killed because of how the virus works, right?
And that's why kids have vaccines when they're still young, that the body's getting used to them.
Exactly. And so you take that, right, that knowledge, and then you turn it into, therefore, when you have this virus, you should take this particular malaria medicine as a cure, and now you're completely after it's gone. Because that is not what that medicine was used for. That is not why they tried to give this medicine to certain people, right? And so from something that has a borderline something true to it, they turn it into a wackery. And then people got panicky because, people started to use it indiscriminately. And so the medics got panicky and they were like, just don't use it at all, which was bad too, because there were certain instances where using it would have actually improved a situation, right? So it was just a complete mess.
Yeah.
On so many levels. And the thing is, on both sides, they were kind of dogmatic, because instead of going there and saying what the medicine actually does, why people think that it might work, and why you shouldn't just take it randomly for no reason, because it's not one thing solves all kind of nonsense. Instead of going that route along and explaining it, people were just like, don't take it. It will kill you. It will kill you. Don't take it. It's like, dude, that is just as wacky as take it because it won't kill you. They're both not right. Stop it.
I think the problem is a lot of people don't know how stuff actually works.
Yeah. And that's exactly the problem. It's like I had this issue with both sides, right? I had those people who were like, we should totally take that. And I'm like, I don't think it does what you think it does. And then I had someone telling me, this is so dangerous and you should never take it. It's like, no, it's really not that dangerous. It's dangerous in particular circumstances. But there is a reason why certain medics tried to prescribe it.
Yeah.
It just... They politicized medicine, Jesus. Again, it's the same as anti-vax. Just give it a chill pill, man.
Yeah, it's, I guess same like vaccines. Like I said, they don't know how. Most people don't know how they work, and they think. I have no idea where the autism thing came from.
Yeah.
I replied, so I'd rather not really have autism. I'd rather have autism than polio or measles, whatever,
Yeah.
Because autism, I guess that's not really big a deal. I know a lot of people have autism and they're pretty smart, actually.
The thing is, if you look at it, because I had to, the whole autism thing, because I made one video about homeopathy. And
I watched that video.
I tend to read much more into the stuff than I need to. For example, when they start with, homeopathy works because the immune system kills you, I'm going for every single thing that the immune system could make worse, right?
Yeah.
Just to make sure that there isn't anything honest about it, because I know if there is just a sliver of truth in it and I don't tackle it, right? Like, I might oversee it, obviously, I might still oversee it. But if there is one sliver of truth in it and I don't see it and I don't tackle it and I don't explain why that doesn't follow, you will have someone who tells me, see, she ignores this and she ignores that and therefore she's wrong. And I can't have that.
Yeah. Like that thing of the UV light and stuff.
Yeah, no, that was another thing, It's like, I have a sister, right, who was working in the emergency for the COVID in Austria, I think she was at that time. She's a nurse, right? She was emergency for those people. I knew firsthand what they did with the medication and why, because she told me in very, very big details. But she obviously has nothing of the politicized US part, right? She has nothing of the politics that the US, is involved in over there. She doesn't hear about any of it. She hears a bit of it. She hears, oh yeah, apparently the president again made some weird tweet and everyone, got wacky about it. Oh yeah, they're rioting over there again, They try to imitate France or something. They have no idea what's going on, right? They hear a few things and that's about it. And most of it is propaganda because unlike the US, most European countries have state-owned news media or state-funded and very often state-controlled. There is much, much less actual liberty than that. Like, you guys can choose between Fox News and CNN, one more wackier than the other. I'm not sure which one is which at this point, but you have a choice, right? Mm-hmm. You can consume them both, see what they both agree on, and then more or less what's going on. You do not have that in many places in Europe. You have one narrative. And in 90% of the cases, it's not the right narrative. So what does she know? She knows nothing. She does know what goes through for the medical thingy, for the medical network, what the medics do, what they try, what they don't try, what she's supposed to do, what she's supposed to give the patients, and why she's supposed to give it to the patients. And you have had research in many places using this particular malaria drug. There are two drugs that they tried. One is a much harsher one, and one is like the milder version thereof. The second one, I think, is the malaria one. They tried that because of how it works for people. And on top of that, the virus that was spreading was of the same kind of family that the previous pandemic virus that they had in China, right? I don't even know what it was called. That one didn't spread to our place, though. So it is very similar, very, very similar strain. And it did work with the previous strain. They had research done in 3-4 years ago about that particular strain, right?
Yeah.
So that is also part of the reason why they tried it. Because you don't know, it's not the same virus. Yeah, it's not the same virus. It's a different virus. But it could still be working because it is so similar, right? That's why they tried it. And so there's all this knowledge going on underneath the surface that we don't hear about, right? And then suddenly it's like, oh yeah, the president says he takes a malaria drug because it might or might not work. And then suddenly it gets, politicized to no end, where it's like people go either the complete one way, it's a wonder drug, or completely the other way, it kills you. Neither of which is true in most cases. And you sit there in Europe, or rather you sit there with your ear pointed at Europe in Little Austria, where they hear nothing about it. And they're like, okay, so the tests in France said that it was actually kind of more harmful. So they stopped it over there. They say you shouldn't give it in that instance. So we try to give it to patients who aren't that, harshly taken, so that they won't get into the extreme cases where they have to be put on machines and stuff. Yeah. And so, you get all this nuance and all this kind of details. And suddenly everything makes sense because nothing is black and white. It's all gray. It's all gray zone. And now, the funny thing is, now the mess is basically over. We have decided for some reason that the US no longer has the COVID. Everyone is running about and protesting. I bet you they will all get sick, by the way. And while the guys over there in the US are protesting, you hear over there from Austria, oh, did you know? The World Health Organization has started using this particular medicine again to make more tests. Just under the surface, under the completely off our radar, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, so this whole discussion is so nice and so full of knowledge and so full of nuance. And it can get you, if you put work in it and actually look it up, it can give you a lot of extra experience and knowledge about not only how your body works, but also about how a virus works on your body and how certain medicine works to stop a virus, because there is no such thing as a cure for a virus. It's a virus. It's not a bacteria. You can't use antibiotics, right?
Yeah.
And
like, plus everyone's body works differently. That's why some people reject organs, other people don't.
Exactly, you know? And it's like, it's much more detailed than what we give it credit for. And I have learned that the more you put in the effort to find out what people think and to find what people really are trying to fight against, if you get to the nudge of their problem, you can drag them out of their woo-woo much, much easier than you think you can. Because many people, you know, when you talk to them on the surface, they will just, you know, discard what you say and oh, get off. You're talking nonsense. But if you actually put in the effort and figure out what they believe and why they believe it, aside from the fact that the vast majority of people don't believe what they believe because of any rational reasoning, there's always any kind of emotion involved. Always. It's weird, but it's just true. We have to admit we're animals. It's just a fact. But that aside, if you get to the core, you know, you can slowly start to entangle it all. And you don't really have to entangle it yourself either. You put in the right kind of poison in the right kind of cracks, and that whole thing cracks down by itself. So it's, you know, I think the whole experience of debunking has actually helped out a lot. Even in the now political times, because it helps me to not just take for granted what I hear, but research it and go into detail and figure out what's actually true. And while everyone there is, you know, beating each other's head up about how right they are and how wrong they are, I'm actually right. And I won't tell them. Sorry, I'm ranting.
Yeah, we do that a lot here on this show.
If you get bored, guys, in the chat, you have to totally call me out.
Oh, yeah, that's why I get one of my catchphrases now, and never stop learning.
Never stop learning. Yeah, and you know, learning can be so frustrating because you have to be so careful where you get that knowledge from.
That's true.
Many people don't trust particular media because the media is biased one way or the other. I don't trust media because I have had the experience by having to research stuff that every time I find an article, even about neutral stuff, even about stuff that is not politicized, vast majority of cases, the media gets it wrong. I just can't trust the media. If I want to debunk something, I can't go to a media article because chances are they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And so over time, I have just developed this complete distrust in anything media tells me. I always have to go to the source. I have to read the research papers myself. I have to read everything myself.
Yeah. I was sometimes the research paper would be easier to access sometimes. Sometimes it's hard to find. At least for me.
Like, I had this one article about desertification. I needed it for creationism. So I was looking at this paper, and it was so some thingy, some Nature magazine thingy. I don't remember the name, but some geological Nature magazine. And they were talking about, you know, justly how the desert spreads and then narrows together and spreads and narrows together. And it was citing a research paper. And it seemed to completely ignore what the paper said in some regards. because basically the paper had made a reconstruction of how the desert was supposed to spread and retreat. But that the calculation was being off in the last years, because in the last years, the desert has increased far more than the calculation would have allowed it under normal circumstances. Right? Yeah. Meaning there is much more desert than there should be. And so the media completely ignored it. And you had a creationist taking this and being, the media says there is no global change. Yeah, the media can say that, but that's not what's written in the paper. And another creationist came over and said, look, the media says that the paper says that the world is 8,000 years old, because at the beginning there was, flood or drought, or at the beginning there was no desert. And that's also not what the paper says. But you cannot rely on the media to tell you that, because clearly the media didn't really read the paper through either.
Yeah, I think some people, they read the article of a paper and say, okay, don't need to go any further. Or read the title page. That's all I need to read.
The most sad part about it is that I want those things to be true sometimes, right? If I open the news media and read, what was it? The president said you should inject bleach or whatever. I read that. I read that article, I read the text. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to look it up. And I have to go and look for the video source, just to find out that if they would have reported it accurately, it would still be absolutely outrageous. But it would also be true. And it wasn't true. What they said was not true. They wanted to dramatize it and made it false, which is stupid. You could have just taken what he said and put it out the way he said it. He said disinfectant. He didn't say bleach, right?
Yeah.
So why the hell did you put bleach? What were you thinking?
And poof. And she disappeared. And our star vanished. They were onto her conspiracy theory. Let's see if it comes back.
Hello, can you hear me?
The YouTube gods don't like what you were saying, apparently.
Yeah, I was saying the nasty T word, and I was saying the nasty C word, and I was saying all those nasty words. I could hypothetically point out at this point that, yeah, as I expected, the USB of my microphone is not very solid, and it just popped out in the middle of me ranting. But yeah, no, it was totally, the day got me. Everyone got on your tinfoil hats. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, and watch out for Trudeau, Michael. Exactly.
They don't want you to hear what Steve was saying on this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those days are nasty.
But that's a thing. A lot of people will say, like, if people if you can't say what you want on the internet, they'll say, "See, they're keeping it secret because they don't want me to tell you this."
You know, unfortunately, there is a lot of woo-woo out there. Talking of woo-woo, the video I'm about to record is absolutely glorious. Should I give you a teaser?
Sure.
I found this video of a very old YouTuber guy that I've seen. He makes videos since forever. He's telling you that there are glitches in real life, kind of like in the Matrix. And that proves that death is an illusion and that you're immortal. And also physical world doesn't exist.
So this is a world. It's like a Matrix thing.
I thought so at first, but I don't think he manages to keep his story straight.
Ah.
But it is absolutely hilarious. You see, there is a maximum speed that something can reach, like the absolute maximum. And no matter from what kind of driving train you throw something off, that maximum speed will still be the maximum speed. They can't be faster. And because of that, there is a maximum speed, and that is unintuitive. And therefore it's a glitch, and therefore we're all an illusion. We are all in a simulation.
Or maybe we're all in the Trudeau. We're all in the Truman Show. We're all characters in an ultimate crossover TV movie.
Yeah. You know, and again, this is one of those cases where the thought that causes this kind of wackery is actually a very nice one to have. You cannot trust your senses. Your senses are not 100% truth. They're always a version thereof, an interpretation of the truth. Like, you don't see all the light that there is inside of the room. You see a particular spectrum of light, right?
Yeah.
You don't hear everything. There are certain sounds that are too high or too low for you. So your senses already are restricted in what you can perceive from your surrounding. So you already have a distorted image of what reality is. Plus, then it goes through your brain, in a sense, and it doesn't just give you the raw data. It elaborates and focuses on certain things and ignores others. Meaning you basically have a filter, another filter, and that filter is very often based on your experience and the structure of your brain in general. So you never have 100% the real picture of reality, at least. So that alone is a very nice argument, being like, you cannot know that the stuff that you see is actually real. In fact, it's not the way you see it. Who tells you that it's actually there? How can you know? Because you cannot trust your senses, right? So the idea behind it is actually nice. But then you take that and you go, therefore we are in a matrix, and it every time it glitches out, and totally we're like immortal because of that. It's like, now you went off the deep end, dude. You totally went off the deep end. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's light, considering how stressful we have it currently with all the crises and riots around. It's nice to have something a bit more on the light side.
Are there any riots up in Canada?
I'm pretty sure they had a protest in Edmonton, and I'm pretty sure that Trudeau was kneeling to the people.
Kneeling to people?
Yeah, kneeling to some people. He went to the protest and was kneeling. Everyone has to stay inside for the COVID, but I'm going to go out, and I'm going to kneel and do my job. No, it's like, I don't care about the fact that they want to protest. But if you as a leader put in all those regulations and restrictions about what people can do, and then you flaunt them just to look like you're a nice person, I call you out on it. I just can't have it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I say one thing about our leader. He's been constant this whole time. He don't care about the COVID. He don't care about the protests. He's anti both.
Yeah.
Like, at least you know where he stands. But maybe crazy, but at least you know where he stands.
The thing is, it makes sense that there would be protests in Canada. I haven't really gotten up to date on the news about Canada and stuff, and I mean, it's hard to actually be, because we have national media and they're slightly biased, so half of the time you don't really hear what's going on. You hear that for local media at best. For example, they had all kinds of instances where, especially because of this weird COVID thingy, they were extremely harsh towards people, throwing people to the floor and arresting them for no bloody reason. Someone just going out and about, just going through the park, getting arrested and everything.
That's crazy.
There was a woman who was in a Star Wars space outfit, right? And running around with a fake gun or something, just role playing. And they took her to the ground and they were so harsh. And I was like, that woman was crying. She wasn't able, they told her to get to the floor and everything. And she couldn't move because she was in her outfit, right? And she was just crying and sobbing. And she was like, please, this is a misunderstanding. And no, just being harsh, just being mean, just rub it in. It was just, ugh.
Well, I would think people, if you're in a costume, people, especially Star Wars, people might know who that is. They know you're role playing or cosplaying.
But as soon as she dropped the gun, just as they told her, right? They could have given that gun a kick, because she threw it quite decently away, as far as I know. They could have given that gun a kick, went over and asked what the hell she's doing, because she was doing exactly what they told her to. Because she was just like this little young woman, just role playing around. Because everyone is in lockdown, no one knows what to do. There is no one there. Let's just have a little Star Warsy march. Why not?
Kids playing imagination. Oh my god, that's so terrible.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing? I'm stopping the Empire from destroying the Earth with Death Star. Duh.
It's just there is just no reason to be like that. End of story.
Yeah.
There was no reason to act this way.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely perfectly clear to everyone, except to this police. And
yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, I hope you tell your daughter, no imagination, kid. Like bad imagination, kid.
No, I have to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I am absolutely surprised about people's view on police in general. Because there are some people who are like, police is racist. And some police people are. But that is not the main problem of the police. The main problem of the police is they're overly violent for no bloody reason. And they happen to be like that, maybe disproportionately with minorities, but they happen to be with that with everyone. That young girl was definitely not a black person, and still she got the whole brand of stupid. The next problem is there is way too much mafia inside of the police. If you get people complaining about you, that you're harsh, that you're violent, you should be basically kicked out, quite frankly. If you're not doing your job properly, if you get all these complaints about your bad behavior, and some of the police actually have law thingies about them, right? Investigations and stuff. And they're still in the police. Those people should all get kicked out. They have no place in the police. The police is here to keep people safe. And as soon as you turn into like an extorter nearly, you have no place in that police. Otherwise, you're no better than the mafia, Italian and 'ndrangheta. At that point, what the hell? Why are you state funded? The other thing that I have noticed is so you have to focus on what you want the police to change. Is the main point. The other thing I have noticed is there are a lot of people who are under this illusion that
and they got to her again. Slow. Boom. They're listening. They're coming.
am I audible?
Yes, they got review. They got review again.
Jesus, yeah. The day I write it again. No, the second part is the important part. People are under the illusion that the police is here to help people in many cases. And that is absolutely inaccurate. The police is there to help the state. They are employed by the state to keep law and order, because law and order means that the state stays in power, or the powers that be, in a sense. Their order is nothing more than the state's way of keeping people, happy and in line and peaceful, so that they can stay in power. That is pretty much what the police is there for. Obviously, you need police because people have to stick to rules and laws. If you are in a country, you have certain laws, you have to stick to them. Some people don't stick to them. Therefore, you need some kind of force that people agree upon is allowed to act forcefully, in a sense, to take care of that problem.
It's like trying to find the balance. You can't have anarchy. You also can't have a police state either.
Exactly. But while it is good to have a police, it is also good to keep that police in check. It is also good to have the police separated, because if you have a police that is supposed to make tickets and tens of thousands of tickets, and that same police is supposed to investigate murder, well, they get much more done when they give you tickets and much less done when they investigate murders, because many murders cannot be, solved. So you end up with police that will give tickets in very dodgy cases, right? Because they want to get their quotas, which is another thing. Why the hell do they have quotas? What should happen is that, first of all, you should have city enforcement only that are taking care of the city rules of you're not supposed to park there, you're supposed to keep a certain speed, and so on and so forth. Then you should have a force that you can call when things go bad. And that police force should not have any kind of quotas that they have to reach or not. Their quota should be satisfaction of the population. That's their quota. That's their, standard. Because this is how you should, you cannot police the people if the people don't want to be policed by you. And the moment the people don't want to be policed by you anymore, to a high percentage, you will lose control over that place. And the next thing that you will have happen is that you will have gangs move in, taking over for the police. For example, the vast majority of people in Italy don't want the police there because the police is also the kind of people who check whether or not you paid your taxes. right?
Yeah.
They come in, and there are so many rules on the book in Italy that just by existing, you have broken at least 5. And they can, lock you in for that. There's a lot of mafia going on there. So the people don't trust the police. If they want to have protection, they have a chat with the gang members of the mafia, pretty much. They are the ones who actually give you protection. You want to the hospital, you want to go to the hospital and actually get treatment? Are you part of a particular family of mafia? Are you giving them money? Yes, okay. You get the special treatment? No, go out on the street. Public health care, by the way. That is the system that you get when people don't trust the police. It is in the police's and in the state's interest to have the police do their job properly. And that is not happening, neither in the US nor in Canada. Not even in Britain. You have those people who go around, murdering and abusing children and stuff. And the police instead goes and arrests people for tweeting because they need their quotas. Britain is a complete hell show. It's nuts.
What do the police in Canada do? I mean, do they have are Mounties a real thing in Canada?
No, they all look like American police now.
Okay. Which
is kind of sad because Mountie looks fun.
Yeah. I imagine Mounties riding mooses instead of horses.
Yeah, well, I guess in some particular cases they actually do have their Mountie-ish uniform, but there is not much mountainous left in Canada. It's really sad.
Have you seen a moose where you live?
I have seen. Well, no, I haven't seen a moose where I live, but I have seen a moose close to where I live. I have seen a moose driving on the highway. In fact, I have seen at least 2. I have seen an eagle
on the highway.
The moose are walking on the highway. You have to drive carefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny. I thought it was bad when you run into a deer here in America. If you run into a moose.
Yeah. No, there is a reason why, especially in the places we live, everyone seems to have this kind of beefed up, massive, truck style car. There's a very good reason for it. It's self-preservation at its finest.
You ever ate moose?
No, but I ate buffalo. Which I
think,
found very funny because I have never eaten buffalo before I was in Canada.
I've ate deer before, but I never ate moose. Never ate moose or buffalo. Unless buffalo chicken really is buffaloes.
I don't know. Is it?
I doubt it, but this whole time I'm chicken, it's real buffalo.
I really liked trying this buffalo meat because it is actually very, very tender the way they did it. Nice and tender, and it has a bit of a savory taste, I wouldn't really say. Kind of savory, but nice and soft. Maybe that's just the way they made it, but it was super tasty.
Is there any food that you don't like at all, just don't like, period?
There is food I don't like, period. Yes, there is.
Yeah, for me, I think I don't like. I hate peas. Even when I was a baby, I hated peas.
They're obnoxious in a sense. Yeah. No, I am finicky. Mostly about combinations of food.
Yeah.
But sometimes also about food.
Yeah, me.
Go ahead. No.
Yeah, I'm curious, so I like to try something at least one time before I say never again. But I like to try things at least one time, just curiosity's sake.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I did too. But I have to say, pineapple that is cooked, boiled, fried, or not in any other cases than raw, I just can't eat it. Yeah, I see those people eating Hawaiian pizza, and every time I'm just looking away, just not watching. No, looking away.
Yeah, I'm not good at cooked food either. Oh, Michael wants to know, was it buffalo or bison?
Well, the animal was dead. I couldn't ask it, quite frankly.
Okay. But, hey, when you were, as a personal question, but when you were pregnant, was there something that you liked just then that your baby made you eat that you didn't like before?
Yes. Peanut butter.
You're not a peanut butter fan?
I cannot stand peanut butter. And nearly every second candy in Canada is made with peanut butter. And when I was pregnant, I ate peanut butter. And I wasn't quite aware of the fact that I was pregnant when I started eating peanut butter. And when I looked at it, because I don't even remember, some veggies, some veggies or something, or even just raw onion or something, and peanut butter on top. And I was eating that like everyone else. And I was looking at it and I was like, wait, that's peanut butter. I'm eating peanut butter. Something's not right. Yeah. I still didn't eat pineapple pizza though, which I'm very proud of. You see, even when I'm pregnant, there are certain things that I still can't eat.
Maybe that's the next baby. No.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I stopped with this whole baby making process. Logic is too big of a person. He makes too big of a baby. And that's not good. Yeah, it's not like if you have a small man and you get small babies, even if you have a big man and you make small babies, that's fine. But when the babies are giants, it's not good, especially when you are a dwarfy kind of sort of person. I'm just not very big. I'm basically like 2/3 of Logic. If you put us next to each other.
Like you're a chihuahua giving birth to a Great Dane baby.
Something like that. At least it felt like it.
So probably your kids are probably gonna grow a lot bigger than you when she grows up.
Enjoy your dinner, Michael and Dolphiny. The reason it's not the weird food cravings is because I eat the weird food when I'm not pregnant. Pretty sure that's the case. Yeah. Like, how many of you have ever put mascarpone on a pizza?
Never even heard of it.
Mascarpone. No idea what it is?
No.
Have you ever eaten tiramisu?
Maybe. I think I might have had it once or twice. I think I've heard of it before. I can't really remember. I've had so much stuff, I can't remember what I've had sometimes.
Yeah, mascarpone is supposed to be kind of like a sweet cheese, right? Something creamy and sweet. You make sweet cakes out of it. You make tiramisu out of it, as said. And I tend to put that stuff on my pizza because why not? And every time I do that in Italy, especially with crudo, with raw ham, people look at me funny very often when I do that, but it's so delicious.
Okay.
And people here also look at me funny because of it. Not only because half of the stuff that I put on my pizza is unknown to them, but also because once it is known to them, they're like, what the hell are you doing? Or like I take honeydew melon and then I put, raw ham on top of it and I eat that together. And that is something they don't really find funny either. It's like, what the hell are you doing? And I just love it. I don't understand how people cannot love it. But then again, people eat peanut butter, so,
Yeah.
To each their own.
I like peanut butter. I'm one of those people that like peanut butter, but not bad. So I like because I like chocolate. I like Reese's cups, chocolate peanut butter. Because I hate, even though I like peanut butter, I hate crunchy peanut butter. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
I gotta have the smooth stuff.
I noticed that over the years I have gotten an addiction to chocolate. If I don't eat a piece of chocolate every day, tiny piece only, but if I don't eat it, I'm getting so grumpy in the evening. So grumpy.
You had your chocolate?
It's like
if you had your chocolate.
I didn't have my chocolate. It's like people get upset they don't get their coffee in the morning. I get upset they don't get my chocolate in the evening.
So I guess. So you ever ate s'mores before?
I tried them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, since you like peanut butter, you won't probably like it then. I replaced my Hershey bar with a Reese cup. my s'mores. It tastes weird. It tastes differently. Tastes weird.
Yeah. That's another thing. It's like you always have to be careful what you eat in what sequence. Like you could, for example, drink a coffee and then eat chocolate. And the chocolate seems so much more bland than if you eat the chocolate before you drink the coffee.
Yeah. I've heard this before. Your taste buds, apparently, I read this somewhere or saw somewhere. It says if you eat too much sweet stuff, the sweet doesn't taste very sweet anymore. Once you bounce it out with like bitter stuff or sour stuff, the sweet stuff actually tastes sweet again.
Mm.
I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I heard.
Yeah, but then wouldn't it be the other way around? Like, in my case, it's more the chocolate loses the taste after the coffee instead of before the coffee. Whereas after the coffee, it should taste sweeter and not bland.
So are you a dark chocolate or a milk chocolate?
Mostly dark chocolate, I suppose. But it's not like, sweet chocolate is not like good. It's just that I prefer dark. It's a subconscious thing. It's like you pretend like you're not eating too much sugar and too much milk. You pretend like you're just eating a lot of cocoa. And as a result, you just don't get that chubby, which is absolutely not true because cocoa is like grease incarnate.
It's like people who back in the day, they ordered the supersized meals at McDonald's, but when they ordered a Diet Coke, that makes a difference. I'll take a super large fry, super large Big Mac, and super large pie, but I'll take the Diet Coke because that will balance it out.
It's funny. I noticed how much calories is in McDonald's. It's like if I wanted to get the same amount of calories that is in a McDonald's, menu, I would have to make giant, massive sandwiches and a huge amount of stuff in it because I just can't get it. I just can't get it done with my own stuff. I have no idea how to do it.
Well, I found the if you want to stop eating at McDonald's, do what I did and start working there.
I have to be honest, and I'm really sorry. I very rarely go to McDonald's. It's just not a thing. I don't.
They suck. Actually, to be honest, I stopped caring about McDonald's food when I get too big to use the playground. That's the reason I even went there half the time was Playland.
Yeah, no, it's generally fast food. I'm not too big of a fan of it. I like to eat food, and I like to eat way too much food. But fast food is just food, It doesn't. There are some people who just really like it and crave it and want it.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't have that kind of effect to me. It's like, yeah, sure, I eat it. It's okay.
Yeah. I sometimes I eat occasionally. Not what I used to. I eat occasionally. Sometimes when I'm bored, but ever since I had to start paying bills and stuff, I can't really go out fast food unless as I used to.
Yeah. No, and the other thing is also, I got super upset about Canada because they don't have proper mozzarella here. And I'm partly, not fully, but partly Italian. And there is something in this Italian genetic that says that food has to have a certain taste. And if it doesn't have at least in the range of a certain taste, that's not good food. It's a bit of a Puritan thinking that you get from that place. And the mozzarella in Canada, I don't know how I don't know how it is in the US, but in Canada, the mozzarella is absolutely atrocious. And I've tried several different brands, all the same problem. So I decided, whatever, I'm making my own. So I got a gallon of milk. I got a few extra ingredients, a bit of, lime acid and that kind of stuff. And I made my own mozzarella. Took me about 2-3 times to figure it out. It doesn't take that much time. It doesn't take that much effort. I can salt it at my own leisure. And it actually tastes good. I have actual mozzarella in Canada. Go figure. So it's not the milk. It's just that they don't know how the hell to use the ingredients. They just don't know how to make cheese out of it, apparently.
Maybe you can sell on the side like real mozzarella from Canada.
Yeah, real homemade Italian mozzarella made by Italy.
I can say what you do have. I can say what you do have it shipped from milled from Italy. Like,
well, no, it's Italian because it's Italian made. It's not like Italy. It's Italian made. If you're Italian citizen and you make it, then it's Italian made. Totally works.
Okay.
It's the same as with the Parmesan cheese. You have certain brands of cheese, great cheese, that are not allowed to have certain names. So they produce them outside of Italy and then pretend like they're sold from Italy. If Italy would export even a fifth of what people think comes from Italy, Italy would probably be kind of like Saudi Arabian wealth style. They would not be able to do that. Most of the stuff you get from Italy is not really from Italy. But that's a side note. No, mozzarella is very easy to be made. But then you have tons and tons of whey, right? Of this stuff that lasts over if you make cheese. You still have some water. And it's actually very nutritious water. So I was like, okay, I have a lot of whey. What can I do with whey? I could make bread. What kind of bread don't you get here? You don't get ciabatta bread. You don't get proper ciabatta bread. I have no idea what the hell a bakery is good for here, but they don't make bread. They make like this stupid, cheap-ass, slicey factory bread, but they don't know how to make proper homemade local bread. So what the hell is... if I want to have a cake, I go to conditor. I don't need to go to bakery. Anyway, I found it very crazy because our bakeries, if you go to a local bakery in Italy or in other places around Europe, you go in and you have like 50 different kinds of bread and they all have this whiff of freshness that attacks you as soon as you get in. And it's amazing.
God. Jeez, when this is all over, I think I gotta come to your place and you can make me some bread and cheese.
So I use the whey and I make my own ciabatta bread. Now, you cannot make proper ciabatta bread here because the wheat is slightly different. But I messed up this bread at least 5 times before I got the hang of it. And in spite of messing it up, it was still tastier than the stuff you get from the store. The expensive stuff. I'm like, how on earth do you manage to not make proper bread? And so I started to give my homemade bread to the in-laws. And they always think that I make this super amazing bread with this super amazing ingredient list and stuff. And it's like, no, dude, I'm so not. I'm throwing in a bit of wheat. I'm throwing in a bit of yeast. I'm waiting until it bubbles up. I'm throwing it into the oven, and there is your bread. I mean, it's as easy as that. But yeah,
Your next, you gotta make your next video, make some cooking segments on your channel.
Yeah, no, I have a behind the mask channel that I completely abandoned for a very long time, and I should really not. I should maybe, work on that a bit. But I just don't get to it. We have so much to do here. I just don't get to it.
Yeah. Lately, I've been making more videos lately because of the lockdown. But before, I was procrastinating a lot of my stuff and nothing to do. I'm like, okay, time to start making videos, putting videos out. I haven't in a long time because nothing else to do right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of sad, but everyone was stuck at, not everyone, but many people were stuck at home and could do all these kind of things. And I was just still busy because we didn't have, I mean, we are not essential, but we also don't have work, measurements to maintain. We are not serving anyone. We are not doing anything. We can just go on making videos. No one can stop us. Right?
YouTubers are essential businesses.
Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, how are you staying entertained, man, without us YouTubers? Yeah.
So let's start wrapping this up soon. It's been fun. So you have any big videos coming up? You want to talk about any big projects?
No, I'm very spontaneous with videos. I will do the video about the glitches. The glitches that prove that you are eternal.
I'll
the glitches that prove eternal life. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, me. I'm continuing my two Let's Play series. One's called Danganronpa video game series, where it's fun. I talked about when you were gone. It's funny. It's about teenagers being locked in a school by a teddy bear. So in this lockdown society right now, it's all about kids being locked down in the school.
Okay.
The other one's about a microwave that can time travel. It's called Steins Gate.
Okay.
They're both visual novels games.
I see.
Yeah, apparently they found a way to send text messages to the past and change history through it.
Wow.
And other than that, next Saturday I'm going to have my guest, scientist Mel. You ever heard of her before?
Oh yeah, I have. In fact, I have even had a very interesting discussion with her on Twitter. I mean, as far as you can have discussions on Twitter about stuff.
Yeah, she's my guest for next Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
If you're bored and want to watch it.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I might probably not because I have a lot of stressy stuff to do. But I wish you a lot of fun.
Thanks. Well, before we go, do you have a catchphrase that you say? You have a catchphrase you say on any of your videos?
Have a great evening.
Okay. All right. And as always, never stop learning and enjoy the randomness. We'll see you next time.
May your cold hearts ever beat. All right.
Heart beats? Well.
May your cold hearts ever beat. Yeah.